Hello, good morning or afternoon.
We're so
Wherever you
high
are.
energy today.
Woo! Oh, we're off to a great start.
Are your kids
Uh,
okay? They're
They'll be
screaming.
fine. Yeah, they're just yelling at the dogs.
All right. This is a not safe for work podcast with kids. Today will probably be very safe because
Very safe.
they're among us. So this is a podcast about reptiles, technically, and it's. We should just invite them on. Just give them a microphone. Muted. VetDNA.com for all of your testing needs. Use code Shit Happens for $5 off the crypto panel. VetDNA.com. And we have other sponsors. Were you trying to buy him a statement?
I was saying $5.
Oh, okay.
That
Sorry.
was my attempt at high energy. Must have coffee. It's not working.
All right, we got sponsors. Who's this critter?
Who's this critter? Well, the person holding the critter is Mr. Shane Kelly, Small Town Exotics, our original sponsor, and he is showing off his. Those are longicatas, right?
No.
So what the fuck are they?
A leopard sigma.
Yeah, that thing. He's showing off those thingies. Oh, I hope you guys buckle up. It's gonna be a good one. Mr. Shane Kelly. You can catch him on all the social media platforms. He drops a new video on YouTube every Sunday, and we appreciate him sponsoring the podcast.
Thank you.
I don't know why he keeps sponsoring us, but there you have it.
What's all this?
Hang on, I gotta look at my notes for this one. I got a big long speech to give y'all's. Chris, BNS Reptilia. He is on clutch 24 with ball pythons. He already has a blood python clutch on the ground, clutch 10 with colubrids. He has 5 different clutches with locality pines and MBKs. He has longicatas due. Some of his projects are Hypo Clown, Trojan, Redhead, Cypress, Candy, Hypo Pied, Ultra Pied, DG, Hypo Stuff. And he is adding a lot to market. And he has pictures on Instagram. If you heard something in there that you like and you don't see it, just message him and he will let you know the status of that. But that is Chris with BNS Reptilia. Everything that's on Morph Market right now is free shipping. Bravo Zulu ball pythons. I just closed my notes because I'm an idiot. This is her new website. Congratulations on that. She's been working on it for a while. She's hoping to make it an information hub as a way to promote her own animals, but also to educate people.
Let's click the Learn tab.
Learn. She has a few sections done in the learning portal, and she's going to continue to work on it. She's hoping to add a biosecurity tab and a how to ship tab, but this is a work in progress, and congratulations on getting that up. That's exciting. And we are grateful that she sponsors the podcast.
Thank you. Yeah. She did do the thing. We were talking a little bit where like you can't actually buy anything. You can only inquire.
Smart. I prefer that. Yes.
And she's doing it on Squarespace, not the Square linked website.
Oh, okay.
So I still need to go through mine and see if I even can do that.
Yeah, mine is on the Square linked, although my website is just like basically holding space at this point.
Yeah, let's go to the chat, see who's here.
Lisa's here. Texas Kid Reptiles, Voodoo, Bohemian, Lorga, Mel, Strictly Strange Snakes, Reptile Bros, Kelsey, Bravo Zulu, Will, Reptifari, Purple Church, Angel, Caro Reptiles, Jason, Andrew Heckler, Super Snake Syndicate, Hippo Herps, Copperhead Reptilia, Lori's here, Casey's here, Maine's Morph, Patricia, Blazing Blue Tongues, High Vis Pythons, Bod's Exotic Reptiles, John Feely, Benevolent Reptiles, Robust Reptiles. Apparently my child is here.
Surprise!
Michael. Oh, Ariana is here. Anyway.
All right, just quick announcement. We do have like Lacey Act updates. You can kind of start messaging your people just to like prime them, your congressmen or women, to not want to. But if you want to learn more about some of the comments that were made nationally by other Congress people, they're on usarc.org. And then the next auction is next Saturday. So that one should be ball pythons and garter snakes, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And the auctions are going good. Thank you for everybody supporting. Thank you for vendors. If you still want to vend, you can still message me and I just to get added to the list. But like all the support, just showing up, even if you can't bid, is very helpful, and sharing is very helpful.
Yeah, we broke 100 the last two, right?
Right. Last time we peaked at like 115.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I think that the better it does, the more we could ask for. We could court bigger breeders too. So if you're like, I want to auction from blank, and they're like a non-sketch person,
we want JMG.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Honestly,
that would be fun.
But he ain't gonna do it for 5 people. That's no fun for him, right?
Nope.
So I'm not even gonna go try to court Junior until we hit like 150. What about that? That's a goal, an achievable goal. So tell your friends. Thank you all. Any other little pre-show notes, thoughts?
Nope. Does anybody, before she pulls it up, does anybody want to throw in some last minute guesses?
I saw some guesses.
Subscribe.
How about you say that in a voice that people can understand that isn't an infant voice?
Subscribe. Run away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Remember being 10?
She is 11 now.
Oh, fuck. She looks an 8.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's that. No one wants to guess, I guess.
All right, Andrew's still recovering from the last auction. You're a real team player. Thanks for helping out.
I'm still recovering, and I didn't bid. Or auction.
I, in my imagination, wanted it to be a little shorter with 3 people, but then it still went long. But I think like maybe that's just like the destiny of the auction. Like, if you ever watched like
or will. He's like, I just can't come.
Like they all sort of end up that way because I think that's just how long it takes to do like a robust number of animals, even if you're doing them very fast. So really quickly, because this is really a collection update, most of them are eating frozen thawed.
For those that are audio only, Chris with Copperhead Reptilia asked how the Saloonsky Eye clutch was starting.
Mm-hmm. We'll do a more robust collection update at the end. Let's do our main topic. What does Jana maybe want to buy this year? Maybe. No pressure.
In no particular order.
Jana?
Dun, dun, dun.
What do you want to maybe buy?
Musarana. Whoop, 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 This might be my number one, actually, even though it's first. I really like the Pied Project, but I just like the snakes in general. I really wish there was someone local that had them so I could go and like play with them and see what they were like in person. But I think they're a really cool alternative to having king snakes around to eat, babies that are malformed and het normals. And I just think they're neat. And I really like pied type snakes with like a lot of white. So it looks very calico to me. I just look at how fucking cool they are. And as Jessica would say, they slap hard.
I wish more of them looked like that. They don't. A lot of them don't look like that. Okay. Like this one is probably
the
$4,000.
Yeah. So pieds are $1,300 each. Normals are $500 each. They can be housed in your racks. So what I already have, I don't have to get anything different. Care and breeding are similar to most colubrids. They're very hard to find. There is a Moosey Facebook group, and so you just kind of have to follow along, and there's like can't get on wait lists or anything. You just have to like be paying attention if you want to get in with these. So I do hope to add these in the near future because I just want to experience a different kind of snake that eats other snakes. As a snake or reptile breeder, I think it's important to have at least one snake eating snake in your collection. Like I said, for the purposes of babies that have to be culled, I prefer them to not just go in the trash can. I don't know why. It makes more sense to me that they go and benefit another creature. So this is a great alternative to like a king snake.
Somebody asked up here how venomous are they? I think it was Will. How is the bite?
How is that bite? I don't know. Do you know, Jessica?
My understanding is it like pretty mild.
Isn't it similar to hog noses?
I don't know if it's similar. To me,
the venom, not the bite.
Hog noses are. Don't yell at me, internet. I swear to God. To me, hog noses are not super mild. They're only mild because you can pull them off easily, right? For the people that overreact, that's not that mild. But most people pull them off and it's not a big deal. So I don't know, because there's like a continuum of like delivery, how easy to deliver and how reactive you are, and then how reactive the snake's venom potentially is. I have no idea.
Right. And with the hog noses, it's not as easy for them to just like swallow your fingers whole like it would be for this, or like how the king snakes just come out and they're like already gulped down your finger before you even realize you're being bit, kind of a thing.
Right. So
that could make it more dangerous.
If moosies are more able to deliver, but they have even a weaker venom than hogs, then maybe it's like more of an issue. I don't know. Someone write in the chat. Who has moosies in chat?
Will said that he had a hog hang on for 5 minutes and had swelling for a week and a half.
Yeah,
that's not great.
Well, Junior's starting to do YouTube channels finally. Fucking thank God. So if you want to see him pull hogs off of his hands multiple times, like he's like this female, so really chompy, and so he'll put the hog on his hand and show you like how to push its nose off, like over and over again. He finds females that are that dumb, right? And he can like reliably get them to just start eating whatever's nearby, and he'll just re-push them off over and over again. So it's obviously easy to do, but I don't know. It's just worth communicating. Like you need to remove quickly, in my opinion. So Purple Church says super hard to breed, which is why you don't have many. My buddy's male tries to eat all the females, so he's having problems breeding with them. Also a problem with moosies.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I think if you're going to have something in your collection, you should definitely always have a pair. That's just my philosophy. Like I have my kings, and I am dumb about colubrid breeding. So if they breed, it's like a bonus. They can help pay for their upkeep, but it's not something that I would be like, I have to produce these. But I wouldn't want my male to eat my females. That wouldn't be not great. So luckily my kings aren't too bad. What?
Somebody in Oklahoma just posted that they have Eastern indigos, like within the states. They wouldn't have to cross state lines, and my life flashed before my eyes.
And you said, I
think I have to be good, Jana. So what's next?
Yeah. Garter snakes. So if you've been listening for a long time, you know I have tried garter snakes and failed, but they are still very high on my love list. I really enjoy keeping garter snakes, even though I have struggled with keeping garter snakes. They are so fun for the whole family. They are beautiful. These are my two favorite. The Cali red-sided garters and the black-neck garter. I just think they're so beautiful, and they're the kind of snake that is a display animal. They can be, can you flip to the next slide for me? They can be housed communally, and so you can have your whole breed group in one tank, and they come out and they bask, and once they learn that you're cool, like the first year they're a little skittish, but after that they pretty readily come out whenever they see you because they're hoping you'll give them a pinky. But they also have a variety of things that they can eat besides rodents, which I think is really fun. Like we kept guppies to feed them, and you just toss them in the water dish and they'll like fish for them and stuff. It's really fun. Red-sided are still pretty expensive, although this has come down since I purchased my trio.
Way down,
like half priced from what it was, which puts it more readily in the like pet range more than it was before. But they're still about $1,000 for a pair. The black-neck garters, which are very hard to find. I spent 6 months waiting to find one before I killed my red-sideds and was like, I'm just gonna take a little break from garters. But they are much cheaper. They're only $600 for a pair. They are escape artists and notorious for getting out of the tiniest little spaces. So I would not personally keep these in a rack. You would need a Viv or an Exoterra or something like that to keep them. So if you're not wanting things that can, if you're only wanting things that can go in your already existing rack systems, these would not be that. And I think it would be a shame to put them in a rack because they're so enjoyable. Care and breeding is similar to most colubrids. And also, I think a bonus is that Snake Discovery talks about garters a lot. And so I do have children coming in at shows and stuff asking for garters. Mandarin rat snakes. So this is something I've been looking at for a while. I think Jessica and I recently, I don't think it was on the show, though, I think it was after the show, had a conversation about these because there is like two different like localities. Is that what we decided they were? Like there's a Chinese locality. And so for me, I was like a little bit confused as to whether you're supposed to integrate those or not. But they have some.
There's more localities than two, to be fair. But okay. There's. Go ahead.
The Chinese is just the one that I see regularly. Sorry, my children are rioting. Use your brain.
Open the door.
Just a
Wish
minute.
I could use my brain. Anyway. Oh, she's muted.
I was shouting at my children, but apparently they're going to shout back.
It's like a school bus. It's like the back of a school bus fight. That's what it sounds like.
It's a brawl. Okay, so there are a bunch of phases that you could. Now we're going to get someone tattling.
All right, if you want to yell at them, I can tell people about my favorite color, which is
Okay,
blue.
thank you.
Okay. Well, there are CB ones. My problem with them is that they're like extremely heat intolerant, much more so than other stuff. So they would have to be not in the snake building. They'd have to be in their own special spot in the house, basically. They are beautiful though, and they could be in the house. Uh-oh, we're having a child intervention.
Yeah. So there's multiple phases of the different ones. There's obviously the high red and the yellow phase. And then if you want to slide to the next one, this aberrant one, that's kind of the look I really like. And this one just happens to be a Chinese locality, but the aberrancy is not exclusive to that locality. Like you can find it in any of the locality. But there's like lots of fun little projects, phenotypic projects coming out that you can play with if that's something you're into. I like that kind of stuff. It makes my brain happy. Depending on what phase you're looking into, they can be $400 to $1,000 each. The high reds are pretty expensive along with the really good quality yellows. They can go in your racks, which is nice for most of us who just want snacks. Who just want snakes to go in our rack system that we already have. And they're similar to other colubrids, and they are so hot. Now, somebody in the comments was saying that they're jerks.
Yeah. Chris also says like they stay active in the winter in the 50s and regurge over 75. They're very cool, appropriate. So if your house or room or wherever you keep snakes is hot, you would have to keep them somewhere else. So that's their biggest fault. Let me air quote that one. Fault to me is they're not like another colubrid that you could slot into a corn snake rack. It has to be its own separate space. But they are beautiful. Wow.
So hot.
So hot. It is a basement dweller. His mom has to throw down hot pockets every night.
I wish I had a basement. So I did look at some boas just because I know Jessica's always trying to get me into boas. And these are some of the boa localities that we talked about in our episode where we had Chris from BNS on. And we kind of ranked which ones were awesome and which ones were not. And of those, I really liked the Venezuela ones. I kind of like the dwarf ones, which is interesting because for ball pythons, I like the bigger ball pythons, but for boas, I like the smaller boas. But they are hard to find, the localities. I feel like, are all the localities difficult to find, or it just happens to be the ones that I picked?
It's the ones you picked.
Okay.
Like people import Guyanas and Surinams all the time. So you find import wild caughts, babies born from imports. So there's always some of them, even if they're not captive bred. But like if there's one locality that was imported once and they're all inbred, you have to wait.
You have to wait. You have to watch for them. And you could buy boa levels for your racks. Or you could do Vivs, but these would fit in the bigger boa, the single tub as adult, right, Jessica?
Yeah, I wouldn't consider a 6-foot snake a dwarf, though. I know you put this in quotes, but I'm gonna quibble over. When I was looking into it, they kept calling it dwarf, so I put it in there because I knew it was gonna. Yeah, I just think it's like the biggest scam of all time. To be like, this is a dwarf because it's not 13 feet long. Like, okay, all the properties of this animal are mostly that long anyway, like 6 feet long anyway. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So this one was my favorite of that whole episode that we did, just because I really like the keyholes. I think this is a very sexy snake. Mwah. It does have an anithristic morph, but besides that, any differences would be like phenotypic line breeding that you would have to do yourself. And then from what I have read, they have a calm temperament. It's a whole
Blaze of Blue
fucking
Tongues asks
chaotic zoo.
if all inbred, is it worth it? What do you think about that question, Jana?
I mean, there's like a point of no return where inbreeding is just like negative returns. So it would be nice if we could get more. Is this closed down? Do you know, Jessica? Like, is there never any more coming, or are we still getting some wild caughts?
Venezuela, no. They're too busy cocaine and oil and hyperinflation.
What if we just like slipped it in a cocaine shipment?
you
think
like,
they would notice?
It might be more expensive. The snake might be more expensive than the cocaine at that point,
Yeah, that's fair.
Go ahead.
In general, the really hard to find ones aren't necessarily worth it, but if you're gonna breed something, I feel like you should like what you see. And yes, there are other localities that are easier to get and aren't super inbred, but you should like what you see. And these are the ones that I really liked. That doesn't necessarily make them the best choice, but I like to go with what I like. What do you think, Jessica?
I don't know. What I am seeing now is the locality boa prices are dropping a lot. So I would almost like, because maybe like wait until the end of the fall or winter, because I think there'll be some good deals, because these prices aren't holding anymore.
Oh yeah, just wait till like January, February, and people are like, I would like to empty some babies out of my rack.
Because these are really just normal snakes with a locality to them, and a lot of them just end up brown as adults. So like they're not really that exciting. It's good that they stay small and they have locality data, right? But it's hard to convince a pet person to want this other brown snake.
For a different price point.
So I think the prices will come down to something more like they were 4 or 5 years ago. That's all. I would wait a little bit, unless you see one that just blows your mind, and then that's fine.
I gotta have it.
Mm-hmm. All right, what's this one?
This is the Crawl K Boa from Belize, and there's like another one that's like one word different.
Cocker.
Yeah, that one. Like, I don't understand the differences between the two, but this is the one that I liked from the episode that we did. This was also called a dwarf size.
I'm more comfortable with that because the females are substantially not 6 feet. They're like 4 feet, like firmly, So Crawl, Cocker, Key, and Tarahumara, I would consider actual dwarfs with no quotes.
No quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Adults eat monthly because they are a lot smaller. So that's pretty cool to me. How often do you feed your adult boas that are just regular mutts? Do you feed them monthly already, or?
Depends on their body condition, but monthly if they're at condition. If they like just gave birth and they look bad, maybe every 2-3 weeks instead.
They are naturally this anery silver, very hard to find, and they also have a very calm temperament. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Jessica? Do you disapprove
I think this price
of my boas?
No, this price is way off. Right now, market is like 600 right now. So I don't know what it'll be in 6 months, 500 or something.
Okay.
I like that they're like the natural anery look. I think I think I prefer Cocker, but whatever.
Whatever.
Like
I'm not excited by my boa choices.
I think these are good choices for a person's getting in because they're just smaller. Like, thank God, right? It's hard to
Right.
have an 8-foot snake.
I
So
agree.
if you shoot for a 4-foot snake and accidentally get a 5-foot snake, whatever.
It's still fine. Yeah.
Right. But if you shoot for a 6 to 7 and you get an 8 or 9, just because she was like a big lineage.
Right.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. I like them though. I'm just like confused about like, if you took this to a show, would anybody know what it is?
No, they would not. But do
But I think
localities-
if you took a Hog Island though, they would know what it was.
Of course they would. But
Because Camp Cannon.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the media coverage is
Listen, we can't all ride that big snake energy.
Wait, did your baby get born? Comment below.
Yeah. All right, what's next? Or are you done?
Yeah, I was done with that
Okay.
one. Brazilian rainbow boas are pretty high on my list, actually, of something that I will eventually. This will probably be the first boa I actually get. This is my oldest daughter's like dream snake. There's a lot of phenotypic projects and morphs and recessives. Although I don't know why anyone would want this snake in albino, but they have it. That's not for me. But
Do you like the hypo?
I don't know that I've
Or
seen
T
a
plus
hypo.
or whatever they want to call it these days.
I don't know, but I saw an albino one in person and I was like, why did we do that? That's not no, that's not for me. They need really, really, really high humidity. So like if you don't keep that humidity up, you will kill the younger ones like that. So that's a stumbling block, I think, for like pet keepers and selling that shows, is that they very easily could kill these. So they're not really like a first snake.
Mm-hmm.
But they're so beautiful. They're so cool. I gotta have it. And you can house them in your racks, but most people put them in bibs. What's your opinion on where you should house that, Jessica?
Probably a bit, just for fun. If it's going to be attractive, you might as well. They're like really fossorial, so I don't know. Will you see it? I don't know. To me, like people should have a pair, and they sell to other breeders, never sell it to pet people, and they never like make it a big project. So then you might as well have it in a bib,
right,
in your living room.
I agree. Yeah, this would definitely be something that I just had a pair of. I wouldn't like a large scale breed these because I don't think that they should be on a table being handed to kids that think they're pretty.
Every time I go to a show, some ball python person comes up to me and is like, yeah, I'm getting into rainbow boas. I'm going to make them huge. I'm going to morph them and I'm going to bring them to every show as my like companion species to the ball pythons. And I'm like, okay, buddy.
People struggle enough with the ball python humidity and make crunchy balls all the time. These ones,
right? I don't think these are like the two species of snakes that are gonna like launch the pet market to the moon. No, not this one.
D's balls. Yes, his son Dexter is born. Congratulations! It's very exciting. Yeah, so they're stunning, but they are not appropriate for entry-level pet keepers, and people who want to add them to their collection should keep that in mind. And like I said, this is my daughter's dream snake, but I have still yet to buy it for her because I feel like she would kill it. But this will probably be the very first boa that I'll get, is the rainbow boas.
Mm-hmm. What are these? They got legs.
So that was my top 5, but these ones have legs. I thought I'd throw them in just for fun. I have zero interest at this time of going into geckos, but how cool are these? I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking around. I don't want to keep bugs with my geckos, but these were beautiful. And if I ever did do geckos, I definitely wouldn't just do like the standard morph leopard gecko thing. Like that doesn't interest me at all, but definitely a leopard gecko that was like an awesome morph. Or I really, really liked these cave geckos. What's the kind of cave gecko that you have?
I have boangs.
Oh, this is what you have.
Yeah, and Orientals.
Okay. So
They don't grow up to look like this.
what do they grow up to look
They're
like?
spotted like a way a leopard gecko starts. Because this is a baby leopard gecko too. All of these like thick parts become spots. All of this becomes spots.
Boo.
They don't stay like that. They look better for Bowangs. They look way better. But if you go on my Instagram, you see that thing that was like yellow with like black spots.
Go on your Instagram.
That's
see
what
Let's see.
what they look like as babies.
Pull it up, Jessica.
All right.
Mexican beaded lizard. I don't. Those are the ones with like all the knobbly.
Yeah, I think people were asking you if you wanted a tegu or something earlier because they're like, do you want something that's going to eat baby snakes that aren't viable or whatever? So you could get a tegu or something as like a one-off pet.
They'll eat slugs too, won't they?
Yeah.
At this time, I'm not interested in getting a tegu. They're cool. I don't know. I feel like they need a lot more love and attention than a ball python. I don't know. I feel like they're up there with my brain just went completely blank. Help me out.
A parrot?
No, not a parrot.
Up there with what? A dog?
No, yeah, definitely up there with a dog. The reptile that everyone gets and shouldn't, and a bearded dragon. Thank you.
Okay.
My brain kicked back on. Bearded dragons are like a dog or a child, and I feel like tegus would be like that level of investment. And I have children and dogs, so I don't need also a reptile that needs cuddles and love and attention like that. And I would never get a sulcata, but thanks for offering.
So this is what they grow up to look like.
Interesting.
They look very much like a leopard gecko when they grow up. They just still have red eyes.
And my dad would yacht, so my dad watch on the TV.
Shh, okay. Can you help her turn the TV on, please? Thank you. Oh my gosh! Anybody want 3 kids?
Free for shipping.
The car or keys are.
All right.
The straw.
Chat.
Or the water bottle in there.
So,
go ahead.
Let's go.
You can go ahead. I've got children talking at me.
Okay. What is everybody in chat looking to get into, and maybe why? And we'll highlight some comments while the kids turn on the TV or whatever.
Yeah, and I also threw up white-lipped python. I don't have any plans of adding this, but maybe one day. I've heard they're really mouthy, and you have to handle them a lot to calm them down as babies. But I just find them so beautiful. So maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Chat. She's ready to sell to Jana. Lisa wants ring pythons #1, and then banded rings no aberrant. Jamaican red mountain boas for Bravo Zulu. Beauty rat snakes. Which ones though, brother?
Beauty rat snake. That one didn't quite make the list, but definitely up there.
Hippo Herps is looking for bull snakes. This bull snake.
That's what my kid wants.
They have crazy heads. I should get her.
And those get pretty big.
You think she's gonna bite me?
Probably. Isn't she young?
Yeah. You're gonna be my friend instead of trying to bite me.
Bull snakes have no F's given. They'll just bite you, and they don't feel sorry.
Like their heads are very strange. They're like wedge shaped. This is from Chris at the auction. It's not focusing.
Maybe put your hand behind it. There you go.
Come on. You can do it. Oh, watch out.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. I see. You're very scary.
Sorry. But they're interesting. They do get big.
Is that a normal or is that a more?
Yeah, it was this normal like POS head kitchen sink female.
They're very cool, but they get big, don't they?
Yeah, I'd probably only want a couple, like a pair or two. Unless I get rid of some boas. You never know, though. Yeah. They're just like, there's something about like the pointy head. I guess people have seen it on the Snake Discovery, or if you have them. It's very strange. I think if I want a ton of big snakes, though, I would want like Carinata or, I don't know, a set of Blue Beauties or something. But not like hundreds of these.
No.
Just like a pair or two of these. And then, listen, is it that bad to be held every once in a while?
It really is.
All right, I'll put you.
She just has to let you know that she's so scary.
She's disappointed that I would bother to touch her.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a pair or a trio or something would be fun. At this point, I just don't really want to deal with that.
What, big snakes?
Yeah.
Almost up. But a lot of them, even if they're not big, they need it. So like, all of them, Blue Beauties. I want calico Chinese beauties because I think they're hot.
Okay, now you have to pull those up because I haven't seen those.
Okay. The problem is, like, they look like palmetto corn snakes. They just don't have fucked up eyes. So, like, thank God for that, right?
I love palmettos, except for their fucked up eyes. If they were more like line bred, you could line breed out the fucked up eyes. I would absolutely have palmettos.
I could still maybe have palmettos, but I think a large percentage of people who are breeding palmettos right now are killing the males with fucked up eyes. Right? Not all the time. They still post them for sale. We've seen it. The eyes like
culling the males. You make it sound like they're like not taking care of them. I don't know. This is the way you said it sounded weird to me.
No, they're okay, whatever. I don't care. They're like, when people ask me about it at shows now, I'm just like, if you like that, you are consenting to like the culling of males. If you're comfortable with that, great. But usually that's like a happy pet person. And I'm like, if you want to accept that in this world, then accept it and know that that's what's happening.
Do some breeders cull all the ones with funny eyes?
Most of them do.
Because I know that there's like some pet people that like this big bulgy eyes.
My understanding is most of them do.
Most of them cull those, but you can still like, I feel like they're a dime a dozen with the fucked up eyes.
That's because there's a lot of them with fucked up eyes. So it's the breeders that don't do it. To me, I don't even know what position I would be on. Like, you could sell them, they do live, but I think it's kind of embarrassing. Like, you're like, one eye's over here, one eye's over there, like a little bit of bulge you could like get away with, maybe slight discount. But the ones that are like truly horrific looking, they probably should be called, because it's like embarrassing to look at. I don't know, for the whole hobby.
It'd be interesting to hear from someone like what the percentage of crappy eyes come from, like regular eyed parents. What percentage of shitty eyes are they throwing?
The numbers I've heard from people are 20%, and it's mostly males.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, that's doable, because if they lay 20 eggs, I'm fine with that.
So maybe,
I'm comfortable with that.
Maybe it's okay. I think this is a hypo calico, not just pure calico. So it's a little lighter color, but it looks like a palmetto. It
absolutely does. That's crazy. And what is that called again?
Calico?
No, what kind of snake?
A Chinese beauty.
Oh.
So they get big, bigger than a corn snake.
But
yeah, I would like to get into those as like a replacement for and I still might get into palmetto, but it's just like breeding anything with like a certain amount of like a flawed rate. Like, do you accept the consequences of what you're doing, and do your buyers know that that's a consequence? Like, every time you eat an egg, half of all the chicks were shoved into a macerator because they were born male. I think we all know that happens now, and we accept it in our hearts. But do we accept that about palmettos, corn snakes? So maybe we should. We just like know that there's like, ethical consequences to our consumption. I don't know. It's confusing to me because otherwise palmettos are fine, right? I don't know. They're just boring, like from breeding. But if you wanted to just shove them out the door,
right.
I
They're
don't know. What does
definitely
chat
like.
think? I wish there was like an instant chat poll. Like,
Yeah,
should
that would be pretty
are
fun.
palmettos ethical if 20% of all males are euthanized?
I
I don't
mean,
know.
I feel like it's ethical as long as you're not just shoving them in the trash can. I feel like if you're feeding snake eating snakes, for me, I'm completely comfortable with that. But some people that they're not okay with that. They
I don't think the pet people
have to
know. Or
save
most of them
save
even
snake.
know. Because they're like, why don't you sell palmettos? And I'm like, because there's byproduct that would have to be, some of it would have to be euthanized because it looks horrific. Maybe even painful. I don't know. If your eyeballs are halfway out of your head, is that painful?
Will said that seems like a better rate than the super black pastels, and people are completely fine with that. So
Right. Some people are. But would you buy from someone who's like regularly breeding super blacks together? Do you think that makes them a good breeder and like well thoughtful? I'm not saying they're not a good breeder. I'm just saying like there's a perception problem where you're like trying to hit something and making all this byproduct that has to be euthanized.
Yeah.
And Transpecos, by the way, are naturally beautiful and bug-eyed, and it's supposed to be that way. So if you want some sort of funny-looking monstrosity, that's how they're supposed to be. So their eyes don't hurt, but they look bug-eyed. I don't know if a palmetto's corn snake's eyes hurt. I haven't asked them.
They don't really have a way to tell us either. Like you just don't know. Like snakes that are in pain, they don't scream. So
right, they don't do anything.
Right.
What's up, Charlie? I think breeding feeders is ethical, but do you want to breed accidental feeders? I don't know.
It's
like
not
this
accidental if you know that 20% are going to be feeders. It seems intentional.
Right. And also maybe it's okay that 20% are feeders, but like, does everyone consent to every part of the process? Does the pet buyer know that that's happening?
Oh, of course they don't know that's happening.
You know,
it's not like you're going to be like, I killed 20% of its siblings. Do you still want it?
Right. This one's 400 because I killed the other 4, and the price would have gone down to 300 or whatever.
Right. No, that's not something I would share with pet people.
Is that ethical?
I don't know.
I don't know. We need to pay an ethicist to come onto this podcast to fucking explain to us the moral imposition of.
That'd be fun.
Well, no, I think the boa people who try to make super Rottleys that live for 5 seconds or super jungles or whatever are actively shunned. Like I have a list of people who do stupid things on my phone in the boa community, and it's in case I forget, it's under like tries to make super jungles viable.
She does, people. She's not kidding.
Right. So like, I don't keep that list for people who make palmettos because a large percentage of them are viable, but maybe like an ethical seller of palmettos would be honest that some of them are cold. I don't know.
Yeah, there is an industry of bug-eyed goldfish. I'm not a fan, but it is interesting. It would just be interesting to like do a poll of pet people like at a show or something. Like, do you like the bug eyes or do you think that it looks malformed, and figure out like what people's opinion of that is, because some people do keep pets with bug eyes intentionally because they like the way it looks. I do not care for it.
I don't know. It's just I just wish palmetto didn't have bug eyes. Then we wouldn't have this problem. Where you're like, it looks great, pet people like it, like, and would be fine. Just shove them out the door. But the ethical considerations just are confusing in the end. I don't know.
L of Music says if it's humanely euthanized and they're used as feeders instead of just tossed in the garbage, then that would be the bare minimum requirement for them. Yeah, no, I feel like that's meeting my needs ethically, but that won't meet some other people's needs ethically. Like I said, I know a lot of people who don't believe in culling something if it can eat and poop. It should be allowed to survive. And I don't agree with that stance, but I can see that some people need to take that stance, but that's just not where I land.
Yeah. I mean, I think like the hard part is like if everyone knew everything you did, like
would they still think you're ethical?
Right. I don't know. So then like if that's true, then like I don't know, should you be doing that? It's very confusing to me. Let's move on to our second sponsors break. Unless you're not ready.
I could be ready. That's fine.
All right.
I was just going to.
This is like a lose-lose conversation in the end, because then you're like,
well, it's a matter of opinion. It's not. There isn't a right answer.
Correct. And then like, what you think is ethical in your heart might not be what you ethically present on your fucking public facing, because like the optics don't look good, but you know that's more ethical and humane treatment.
Andrew Heckler wants to know why retics did not make my list. I already have like 12, because that's the smart thing to do for a single female woman keeping her snakes by herself. Definitely. That's definitely ethical. Yes.
Yeah, you don't need like a 20 snake breeding project with a pig farm in the back to provide them.
For sure. Yeah. Stone Age ball pythons, getting into green tree pythons. Very cool. I love green tree pythons. I heard that they're incredibly difficult to breed, incredibly challenging to start, but they are so beautiful. And I think it's neat that he's giving it a go. And he is still sponsoring the podcast. So I don't know about that, Justin. What are you doing? Worst podcasts out there. So Stone Age ball pythons, stay tuned for his updates on how that project goes, and make sure that you follow him on his.
I'm so sorry. Keep going. Keep going. My husband can't take him anywhere.
Well, I mean, that's what I was going to say when you switch to the sponsor spots, is that, you know, a lot of people prefer not to know where their things come from. And, you know, if you really want to get into ethics and consumption, you know, like if you just buy regular eggs, which I do, do you know how those chickens were kept? You know, if you're just buying regular meat, like those are processed in a very unethical way, or like dairy cows, those are kept very unethically, in my opinion, but I still buy those products. And so, and it's just like, it's a real funny gray long.
Right. I think in like the cosmic horror scale, like the culling of baby palmettos when they're born, because they're, you know, not that great looking, it's not that bad compared to all of those other things. Obviously, you just mentioned in terms of like, obviously the animal isn't suffering very much. It just was born and then deemed unfit and then culled. So that's fine. But I think if a pet person knew that, you would have its own sort of like, you know, commercial problems selling the animals, because they'd be like, well, you're not ethical because you also didn't do all this other shit. Oh, sorry. We went back to it. My husband's funny though. Thank you, Justin.
Powerhouse pythons. Look at all those babies. He is sponsoring the podcast and has lots of stuff hatching out. So make sure you are following his Husbandry Pro website to see what he has available.
Mm-hmm.
And Gray Family Snakes, child labor. They need to come give me lessons in this. Lori will be out here again in the PNW, so I will be getting to have lunch with her next week again, which is exciting, and we are grateful they are sponsoring the podcast. Make sure you check them out for all of your BPI axanthic needs.
Thank you. Guess what? I smell like bull snake musk.
Better you than me.
And I've been like, what's that stink? Is it me? And then I realized she like weed on me a little bit at some point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't begrudge people for breeding palmettos in the same way I begrudge like trying to make super motley viable boas. Like the percentage of death is extremely high. So I like obviously there's like gradients of stuff that I'm uncomfortable with, and I'm like way more uncomfortable with trying to make super motley boas because those things look horrific.
They really look bad. I don't know why people do that.
All right, Jana, I think it's movie madness time. Did you do whatever you were supposed to do?
Yeah, but that was like a while back. Just a second, let me refresh my own memory. So it was the Big Lebowski, right? And Tommy Boy won by one vote.
Whoa.
So most people think I also now need to watch the Big Lebowski. So I will probably do that this week for next week's episode. I hated it. I hated Tommy Boy. That is not my kind of movie. That is not my kind
Who
of.
recommended those two to you?
The Big Lebowski was Adam, and then a friend recommended Tommy Boy to go with it because I had already seen Shawshank Redemption, which was Adam's other rec. But it was.
I feel like Jana has very specific taste in movies.
Me?
Like, yeah, because there's stuff where I'm like, oh yeah, most people probably like that, and you like fucking couldn't handle it.
That's not that I couldn't handle it, and I laughed, and like the last 15 minutes were good, but it was just like maybe I'm not a movie person. Like maybe
right. Well,
I've
you've
been ruined
almost
permanently.
liked no category of movie except for what movies have you liked? Maybe you should keep a chart like. Like instead of like Rotten Tomatoes,
what was
like
the
Fresh?
Sigourney Weaver? Is it Aliens or Predator? I always get them wrong.
Aliens.
I liked those a lot. I really like sci-fi.
We only watched the one.
No, I watched every single one of them.
At that moment, I know you have watched all of them.
No, I watched all of them in order.
And then you just commented on Aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens is my favorite movie, probably at least top 10. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was fucking really good. I loved it. I love sci-fi. I hate to be cliche, but I like romantic comedies. I don't like horror. Suspense, I'm good with suspense. I like doomsday, like end of the world shit. I don't know.
All right, but what score out of 10 do you give Tommy Boy?
Oh, like a 2. It was bad, guys. It was. I feel like I would like those 2 hours of my life back.
That's fuck! What a burn! All right, you like Big Lebowski more, I think, but I still don't know if it meets your standards or whatever.
Yeah, next time we'll have to do sci-fis or something because guys, you're killing me. You're killing me.
You should do anime.
Oh yeah, it is time for anime.
I don't know what the heck. I'll make you watch Akira, then you'll be like really mad at me.
Akira, what one do you want to pair it next to, or are you just flat out picking?
Do you want sci-fi?
No,
Ghost
anime.
Yeah, sci-fi anime. Every genre of human story is also in anime.
Akira and Ghost in the Shell?
Yep.
Okay.
And they can fight that one out.
Am I gonna have to hunt down?
Akira's a little like heavy and weird, but like there's enough sci-fi elements that you can like be excited about that part.
I just felt like Tommy Boy was something my ex would force me to watch, and laugh his ass off while I just looked at the screen and was like, that's just painful.
Bravo Zulu says Repo, the Genetic Opera, original bubblegum prices, Bone Tomahawk, Fargo, 90s.
Are those all anime?
Some of them are. Yeah, Akira is hard to swallow. But like you almost need like the imagery or whatever to watch one time to like get allusions to it later in later media. So you do need to watch it once.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind movies like that where you have to watch it more than once to like fully appreciate it. I actually prefer those to things like
I just can't believe you didn't like
I never need to see this again
for the rest of my life, because it's like very easy for white people to like that. It's like very the themes are very normal, you know, like man versus nature, and there's a romance aspect, and it's got puppies in it. Like it's very normal stuff.
I like the wolf one.
That's what I just said. Oh, yeah, wolf children?
Yeah.
Right, but why didn't you like Princess Mononoke? Normal humans like that movie. They're just normal white people, the crustiest Kansas bred white boys.
It just didn't have enough substance for me. It was like a children's book that had been turned into a movie, and it just didn't have much plot. It had like 3 plot points, and they've turned it into a 2-hour movie. And for me, I was just like, you could have said all that in 5 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes there's themes. Okay. You know. Okay. I think, okay, stop. No Akira. Fuck Akira and fuck
the Shell one.
Ghost in the Shell. We're not doing like hardcore science fiction. We're doing romance only.
Oh, you think you're gonna have better luck with romance?
Yes.
Opposed to sci-fi.
I don't know anymore what you want, because to be like Princess Mononoke is almost perfect, and you're like, there's not enough substance, and I'm like, fuck. But what are you talking about? There are like 3 plot lines running concurrently.
Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I don't know. That actually,
all right. There's no voting. Howl's Moving Castle, or maybe if you want voting versus Spirited Away. There's no white woman in the world who can resist either of those.
I feel like I've seen Spirited Away when I was a teenager, but I don't know anything. Like I couldn't tell you a single plot point. My brothers were big into anime, so like,
yeah. Well, then you can rewatch it. It's good.
So tell me the first one again. Howl's
Moving Castle. More romance. Ponyo is good, but
anime,
it's like
it just like the Princess Mononoke. It just felt like a very like simplistic child show, but not one like there are some like kids cartoony shows that have substance for the adults as well, and this just seemed like a a simple child.
You need to rewatch it like 3 more times,
because I could not rewatch it 3 times.
You're missing themes and allusions to stuff and whatever. I don't think it's immature at all. Ponyo kind of is. People are recommending Ponyo. That one's like definitely for kids.
Yeah, I don't want one that's for kids.
I just don't get your perception of Princess Mononoke. Okay, it makes me think you're like literally insane, and I don't understand like your worldview on media.
But don't you feel that way in general about me?
Yeah, it just means we have different feelings. But like,
so isn't that like par for the course at this point?
I don't know. Let's put an L in the chat for Jana not liking Princess Mononoke, because what the heck, dude?
I didn't hate it. I just didn't love it.
What the fuck? It's so important that people have like when they made Ahsoka, she's basically modeled, like whole like franchises have been modeled after her character model. That's how like she impacted. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You can't convince Jana.
It's a whole genre of movies that people either love or hate. So I don't know why you're like up in my shit about it when there's lots of people who don't like it.
Because I think you like the same like thematic elements and other things. I think you were just sleepy or something. I'm almost convinced you just like weren't paying enough attention to it, because you're like, it's for kids. Is it? All right. Let's talk about this character. Look at this guy. What's he doing now?
He's so adorable. He looks like he just needs a big hug.
So he did his Grail video, and we've sort of like fallen off talking about
Rude.
what? Oh, damn.
That's harsh. That's a harsh buzz right there. Rude. Oh, really? Really now? Okay. All right. You guys all suck.
For the audio only people, the Plays and Blue Tongue said is Jan's hair movie Twilight, and then probably 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know. Let's get back to Justin. Otherwise, we'll be doing movies all day. But you watched a movie. I don't know what you should do. Maybe my recommendations will never work because we never see the same way. So Justin did this Grail video. Let's like skip ahead. And Grail is Lavender Clown. And we'll just like check out. He had, and they're pretty good. This is the Inchy Yellow Belly Grail. Do you like Grail yet, Jana? This is the.
What's the one that he calls Starburst?
Just Lavender Inchy.
I like those.
This is what this is, but in clown.
Okay. I like the one that's littler. The one to the left.
This one's Spot Nose. Inchy. He was trying to get the Spot Nose Inchy Yellow Belly, but he missed it. So he did this. My story isn't necessarily about these combos. It's about this. So then I was like, oh, let's see how many like double het Grail females sold because of this. And this video came out last Friday, so 6 days ago or something. And when I checked over the weekend, like 15 or 20 had sold. And I was like, oh, cool. We'll just talk about it, like the Justin effect. But it wasn't in one particular project. So it's not going to increase the price, but it will like move inventory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back to look this morning, and a bunch of them are missing. So people have deleted them. So now there's only like 5. And I swear there were 15 or something, like double het females and males that were sold.
This continues to be a conundrum.
After the 21st. So here's the 23rd. So only 4 are left. So people are deleting them, or there's some sort of morph market 404. So this is more of my evidence that
something hinky's going on.
Yeah. And I know Darian last weekend yelled at people for
deleting,
for leaving stuff up for sale when it was sold.
Oh.
And then a bunch of solds came in, a bunch, like 1 million. And I was like, fuck, all of our pricing stuff, stonk reports are ruined now. Because these could have been sold 3 months ago or 6 months ago. But now they're like getting deleted. And that brings up like, what if people are leaving Morph Market altogether? I'm assuming all their data gets deleted, including their old ads. So that's a negative for me in terms of like data control or just watching. And the hinkiness continues, and I just wanted to comment on that because I don't know. Like doing the stock report like makes you look at it more, and I might be not seeing things because half of it gets deleted.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening, but it's definitely, I don't feel like it's a good thing. I said this last episode that we talked about this, that I use it as like a reference point. Mm-hmm. Also, like when you pair snakes that have a high amount of morphs, and you can get some pretty crazy high count combinations. I also use it to look at the different varieties of those combinations to help ID snakes in a clutch. And so I feel like it's going to hurt the industry that this is happening.
Yeah. Tell your friends to not delete. And I don't know, maybe Darian could like if someone doesn't want an account anymore and doesn't want to pay, their old data can stay for free to help the system if they want to go down to like a free level. But I don't know. A lot of people are leaving because they're not happy about it, something. And so they might not want the data to stay to help. So I did do like a double checking, and if you mark as sold somewhere else, it should still be in the search. Because I looked up stuff that I had sold that I know I didn't sell on Morph Market. I marked as sold somewhere else, and mine were still in there, but other people's are disappearing, so they are deleting them.
It grinds my gears. It's just like, it's so frustrating. But that's what happens when someone else takes over, is that there's a different standard or expectation, and their goals may not be the old goals. And nothing is sacred anymore, Jessica.
I don't know if like he's doing it. Darian's making. He was just trying to get people to mark stuff as sold instead of for sale. But people took that to delete or something, I guess. I don't know. What's up, Alan? And Marshall says, what about snake stays, but pricing is removed?
I mean, that's better than nothing, but price is important too, I think.
Retro Bros, why don't y'all invite him to the show? He was on the show, but then he booked 3 shows in the same week before us, which is kind of rude. I'm gonna be honest. And so we're still, I don't know, on speaking terms. He can come back on. He just needs to like take a break in time so that he's like not a one-trick pony who's been used all over town by every other podcaster. Otherwise, there's nothing new to talk about.
Yeah, it's just no one wants to see the same person on every podcast in a week. Like, there's no value in that for any person. Doesn't matter how famous you are or how good you are at the industry.
What new question could you think up to ask Darian on episode 4 of that week? Like, I was like, I literally fucking don't know. We could have maybe tried if there was one podcast.
Cut pieces from all of his interviews and done a fake interview without him physically being here, and we would have had all our questions answered.
Yeah. Yes. And I think he would have gotten maybe a fairer shake on our show than he got on some other shows that he like got entangled in or whatever. So like it was his choice to, I don't know, book everything like the way he did. I would still have him on. He just needs to take a break and then later. Yeah, I think that's why people are deleting it. So pricing is not on the record if it got cheap, but
everybody knows the market's down. Deleting it is not price protecting. It's just shitty right now, and it can still rebound. Like, things have gotten really cheap and then got back expensive. Like, look at the G-Stripe project. When the Kiki came out, G-Stripes went through the roof. Now they're coming back down to where they were. But before the Kiki, they were low. You know, it's like, these swings are natural. You don't have to delete your shit just to protect the market. The market is doing what the market's doing, and you deleting it is hurting the like time capsule.
Right. I think Marshall knows that. I just think other people think that.
Oh, of course Marshall knows that. Right. I wasn't yelling at him directly. Right. I was just yelling in general. A little bit like you were shrilly. I'm sorry, Marshall. That was not.
I don't want to do the dishes. Sorry.
Anyway, it grinds my gears, but that's fine. I don't even go on Morph Market anymore.
I go on Morph Market a lot, but just to see if I can find things to tell people, but then half of it gets deleted before I can tell anybody anything. Like, I want to find stories about the market. All right. Let's look at this critter. I think we saw something kind of like this last year. Jana, do you want to buy this?
I kind of do. You hate it.
I'm just asking if you want to buy it.
I do. I think it's sexy. I'm sorry if you hate that answer. No, I'm not sorry. Fuck you. I like it.
I didn't make a judgment decision. I just wanted to know if you wanted to buy it.
What about you? Do you like it?
I think it's interesting. So I think the problem is Spot Nose didn't open it up anymore. Like, that's the whole point. It's basically a G-stripe with a clown head. So
but it's got the like spots on the side, like a Batman clown. I don't know, I think there's potential. So I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. No shade at Justin, but I think that he has a lot of Blade in his project. And so, like, you'll see somebody else.
Kiki project specifically?
Well, that's what I'm looking at. I haven't specifically looked at any of his other projects, but I feel like there's been some people who have produced things that he's produced after he's produced it, and they're much busier. And so I wonder when he comes out with something and it's not as busy as we hoped it would be, if there is Blade in play. But I would buy that.
All right, let's do a poll from the chat. Smash or pass? You have to like believe that you're in the Kiki project to begin with. But would this be the Kiki mail you would think you would want to buy for $10,000? I think it's like interesting, like intellectually. I like this little trail of dots.
I love it. Cute. I think it looks really good.
If you could get more dots, that would be fun.
And the line is super sexy. And
I wish it had more pattern, obviously, as always. But Spot Nose did not help Leopard that much, I guess is my point.
So Will's Hella Heat says, for $10K, hell nah. Kiki better get back on the Target racks and stop trying to be Macy's.
Pass. Damn. We have a smash, but not at 10K. Pass.
Okay, so is everybody passing on looks or price? Because I was talking looks.
Well, this is a fair price for this combo.
It really is.
Like the standard Kiki is now down to like 7 or something, but like plus 1 gene was like 9K.
Exactly.
Now, so this is plus 2 genes, and it's 1 year old or from last year.
Oh, that's a great price. I think.
It's a male, and it was.
I don't even feel like that has the Justin markup. I feel like that's just market value.
Wow. Who knows what the market value is? But I think so. This is a fair price, but most people are like, it's not cool enough. I think both. Like it's both the price and the looks.
Damn.
What a triple burn. All right.
Burn. Everybody's hating on Jana today. And there were a lot of questions about what my favorite movie is. I feel like I'm going to get just razzed for this. Damn it. So my favorite movie is Avatar, and not the 4 element anime, whatever.
Oh, you should watch that. How much time do you got?
Not that one. The Avatar with the blue aliens.
Okay.
So
that's your favorite?
Hate me in the comments. Feel free.
That's like your most favorite.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What's your second favorite? Fern Gully? I could razz all day on this one if you wanted to.
I do love Fern Gully. It was a favorite when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
why is it your favorite movie, Jana?
I really enjoyed the world that they created. So I like movies, like sci-fi movies that create like a whole nother world and a whole nother like way of thinking. But I also like, it's like undertones of like, fuck you, we're killing our earth kind of a thing.
Why don't you like Princess Mononoke?
Because I just hated it. Okay, get over it. I feel like I've watched it so many times, and every time I watch it, I pick up something new, and I like movies that you can watch more than once, and still like be learning or still be seeing like subtext or Easter eggs or things like that. I mean, if I had, this isn't one movie, but I really liked the Lord of the Rings trilogy growing up. Like that was a pretty big staple. Like I watched all the extended versions and all the commentaries on those and stuff. Like, I don't know why everybody hates me and my movie choices.
Nobody hates Lord of the Rings. But it's like
the Smurfs.
I think Avatar was fine, but it's like pretty basic.
The imagery was really amazing. I agree, Will. It might be basic to you, but for me, I really enjoyed it, and every time I watch it, I enjoy it, and I just thought it was amazing. And the second one is just as good as the first one, which never happens. So there it is, people. Blow up the comments about my shitty taste in movies. It's cool. I'm secure in my taste.
Okay. I don't know if I have a single favorite movie. Like one movie that is my favorite. But I like Aliens as like, a cozy pair of socks to slip into after a long day.
Mel asked if I can watch the Barbie movie and let everyone know how terrible it is. I have 0% desire to watch that movie.
Okay, let's stop talking about movies. Start talking about snakes. How's the collection updates for this week? And then we'll get off this puppy.
The acid clown's peens still no go, but he is eating ASFs regularly. He's eating one a week. I might bump him up to every 5 days, just because I still feel like he's a little bit on the smaller side.
What does he weigh now?
About 400 grams, 450 grams. And I weighed him about a month ago, so he might be more than that now. But his peens are still underdeveloped, and so I feel like I have time that I should just like fatten him up really good. But most of my girl-related ultrasounds, and I'm starting to get like the teens in millimeters for follicles. So I feel like basically this season is over and I'm into next season, which is fine. But it's nice that I finally have some forward motion. So I'm going to start doing like initial pairings, and that's exciting. I feel like a ball python breeder again, because for a while I didn't feel like one at all. I guess I just wasn't one for a year. But now I am again, and I'm remembering like why I like it and why I do it, and that's been very good for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming you had like a slowdown just because of the move to the shed, and then maybe less feeding.
I didn't feed enough. I was feeding every 2 weeks. And now I'm feeding like every 7 to 9 days. But now that everybody's starting to build, I just need to be more consistently every 7 days. And it's getting there. We're getting there. So I think I just didn't feed enough, and it really didn't have my focus. And so it is what it is, and we're moving forward, and there's progress. So I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now.
So I pulled another ball python clutch, which is like a boring clutch. It was like the leopard double het to a het pied. So I'll just get pieds and test them, I guess, or just throw them in the trash.
What was the second?
Desert Ghost, just the worst gene.
The worst gene in the universe. How many people have decided to get out of Desert Ghost? Comment below, because I'd like to hear. Because I've had feelings. I've had feelings about this, and I've like swung.
Did you
one
watch
way and swung the other way.
Jeremy's discussion that I was on for 3.5 hours?
I haven't seen it yet, but it is on my watch list.
You don't have to watch it, but we talked about it a little bit because I was like feeling loose. And Steven or Courtney or both together typed a comment like, would you recommend a new person get into TG or Lace?
Lace.
Yeah, and Jeremy's like, like TG's still cool. It works. And it's just like, it doesn't matter if it works, if it's psychologically not as cool, right? Isn't that everything we do every day is like the psychological perception of believing it has more value just because it's a slightly different color? They're all the same kind of snake. So if the psychology has fallen off for you,
then what the fuck are you doing?
Right. So then I was like, if a new person asked me, I would go buy Lace all day. Like if that was the choice, because then the psychology is clean. It's just het lace looks like this, super white lace looks like this, and then Will on Adams was bringing up, like, out of the blue, like, yeah, we should start working on making supers. I know you copied me, Will. just like instead of doing triple recessives, do supers as part of the triple, which we've talked about a lot. Like that's your new triple, is like super OD, super blackhead, clown would be a triple. So Will just emerges from Canada and just says what we're all thinking anyway, basically.
Oh, I did have a question for you.
Yeah.
So double clutching for colubrids. I'm speaking about my kings, but whatever. So they both laid. One was all slugs, and one ate half of her clutch because she's a bitch. Which is funny because Jessica was like, "Go pull that shit right now," and I was like, "I'll do it after. It's fine." Anyway, so I bred them both again, and they both locked. Does that mean that there's a potential for double clutching if they're like wanting the peens, or does that mean nothing?
Sometimes they'll lock and not double clutch, but
it doesn't indicate anything, is what I was asking. They're
usually you need to lock them right away to like make it happen, but sometimes they can be like disassociate in time with their normal schedule. The double clutch is supposed to be laid when the first clutch is pipping, basically.
Right. So
in a normal world, but I've had corn snakes split that timing apart a lot, like 4 months apart.
So I fed them the next day after they laid, and then the next day after that, I paired the first one, and then I gave the male a rest day, and then I paired the second one. Is that fast enough?
And she laid? I would pair after her post-lay shed. Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, I was asking. You said you had to do it fast, so I just did it.
That's
like
what
right
I mean.
After they laid.
Yes. Or, but some people will like wait 3 or 4 weeks and then pair.
So just pair them again.
I pair all the time.
The time. Okay. Here are the peens. Love the peens.
Like, oh, I haven't paired you in a couple weeks. Pair them again because you were doing other snakes. Pair them again. They don't lock that long. You can take them out in a couple seconds once they're done. You know, like they're not like ball pythons where it's like you need to put on the music and just canoodle for like 3 days. No, just pair them again because he has sperm for all kinds of females.
Oh, and they have 2 peens, so technically I could just like toss them in one and then toss them in the next, and he'll unload each side.
Right, each testicle, each peen. Yeah,
cool.
I'll just keep doing
I'll do that
or whatever. Yeah, I have maybe you're just like overthinking it or something, and that's just pair a lot so you don't mess stuff because he doesn't have a lot of work to do anyway. That's my theory.
He doesn't. Okay. Yeah, I'll pair him after I feed him again.
Mm-hmm.
Because do not pair king snakes if you haven't fed them.
And then, so I have a funny story.
Oh, they want to hear who you were on. You were on Warfel, right?
Yeah, I put it in the comments. Warfel's.
Oh, you did.
Morph's YouTube.
Sorry.
Channel. He does a live video every Sunday, and for some reason he let me on, and because I was in a good mood, I got a little crazy.
Oh, see, now I have to watch.
And then I got like tired as I was doing it, so at the end I got
a little
loopy, and then I messed up his whole ad read, and he wasn't. I was like, "Keep going! I'm just helping you by making it worse." So you have to keep going, otherwise we'll keep going. The suffering will continue. And he's like, I can't do it.
Does he normally go for that long?
Sometimes. It just depends on like his day or whatever. He's like, I go to 11, and I'm like, we're going all the way.
We're going all night long, baby.
Dude. But I started to lose it at the end there. Okay, let me just show you this picture of this snake. You remember this snake? This was a snake I bought as a black pastel.
Mm-hmm.
And she's glowing because she's ovulating here, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then for a while there, I was like, maybe she's actually cinnamon because she doesn't have a lot of alien head noise.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and she was pos het hypo. So I was like, oh, so maybe she's a cinnamon het hypo, and that's like the head effect. But then she had babies. This is like for like the OGs who listen to the audio only version. They'll know about this story because that's the only place I've talked about it in a long time. And then she had babies. It had lots of noise.
Yeah, those are definitely black pastel. Definitely
black pastel, says Jana. Copyright 2023. Look, but they look. This one's het clown, so that's like changing the color a little bit. But they look like black pastel.
Yes.
Everybody who looks at this would be like, that's black pastel, not cinnamon. It doesn't have that weird cinnamon head color. That's like more browny instead of like.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So not cinnamon in anybody's opinion on the earth. Just some kind of head effect here. So I was like, great. Let me send her shed into Gray Rider before I sell her, just like double check if she was het hypo.
I was just going to say, that's what would have been my first guess is het hypo.
And she was sold as het hypo.
Oh, okay.
Too. Like pos het hypo anyway. So I was like, okay, great. Returned, not het hypo. So I'm like,
what the
Charlie.
Fuck?
So I was like, okay. So it said, I was like, okay, maybe she's het albino or lab albino because both of those are brighteners in het form.
Okay.
So then I sent it in to
again.
Yeah, for the panel this time because I was like, if I send it into Charlie for just albino, it could be lab. So
right.
So I spent $127
on a $127 snake.
Yes, because the only reason I did this is because I have her daughters as het clown combo things.
Oh, okay, right? That makes sense. Yeah.
So I was like, before I sell her, I need to know what her daughters are.
She's het nothing, isn't she?
So she is not. I don't know about albino yet because that one hasn't come back. But she's not het for anything exciting, and she's also not black pastel.
What?
She is a illusion. So she's either a cinnamon that looks like a black pastel or a new line of black pastel. There's no cinnamon test yet, so I can't like confirm or deny she is not a weird cinnamon, but she is not a black pastel.
What the actual fuck?
I have a feeling she'll come back for albino because she has like the head notch that het albino happens to have sometimes. I will update if anybody cares if she's het albino, but she's reconfirmed with Charlie that she's not het ghost. Like both tests agree, not het ghost, and not het anything else, and also not.
Then what the fuck? Where did you get that baby? Are you gonna test that baby?
From her vagina.
But it's black pastel.
I think there's another line of black pastel. I even wrote up a little email to Ben, and I'm like, no, I'll just save it for the show. Fuck it. And instead of sending Ben pictures and being like, there's another black pastel line that you're not picking up, I'm just going to like spoil it here on the show. That it's like a lighter black pastel line than like a Barnhart style where they're really dark and crunchy, but it doesn't really look like a cinnamon either.
But she threw a dark and crunchy one.
Yeah, but that's not as dark as it could be. You know what I'm saying? Like there could be darker ones.
That's a cloaca, wrong hole. Will is saying Huffman.
They don't look that much like Huffmans to me.
And
not in combos either. So I think there are more 8-ball snakes on the continuum besides the obvious ones. And some of them look more like each level of the process. And so like the darker 5, we're going to call black pastel, and the darker 3 are cinnamon, and then the darker 4 are Lori, HRA. And maybe they are all different.
Oh,
and then there's like
she be HRA?
No, she doesn't float correctly, and she has too much noise.
That baby, that's confusing. That's very confusing to me. Yes, you need to update once the albino comes back.
It's so stupid.
Wild.
Right?
Wild.
Because I think
do you think that this is the genetic testing? This is going to wreck our whole conception of everything.
Mm-hmm. I think this is like the start. Like things like there could be 3 kinds of GHI, and it doesn't matter effectively.
We've all taken the pill, and we've woken up, and we want to go back in the Matrix. I want to go back. But also I don't. I can't explain it. It's confusing and hard. I would have bet money black pastel or cinnamon had hypo.
See, I don't think she's cinnamon though, for sure. To me, she doesn't look the right color. So sometimes black pastels are lighter.
So she is lighter, but you also had a picture of her, and I can't remember what she looks like when she's not in glow.
She still is lighter, but she's not cinnamon colored. Like I have lots of cinnamon or had, and they have like a browner sort of, not even cinnamon color, but like browner quality to them as babies. They're like chocolatier, the backs. And she doesn't look like that, and her babies don't look like that. They look more like, I don't know, mahogany looking, but not like dark black crunchy colored. So it's a different thing, unfortunately for me. Because I don't know if her daughters will make cinnamon looking clowns or black pastel looking clowns, actually, now that we talk about it. And there's a difference, like a color pattern difference. And like that's when it'll be like obvious which side it's going to fall on. Like if, like cinnamon clowns are almost like desaturated in color. Like they're very gray naturally. No.
I'm sorry. I'm still reeling over it being
like
not
the cinnamon dark night that's on Morph Market is very different than a black pastel dark night. You don't even know if it exists, but you can tell like the gray cinnamon clown combos end up being very gray toned because there's something about cinnamon. It actually sucks away some color, but black pastel has more color underneath. So in the same combos, the black pastel one is usually more colorful and the cinnamon one's more gray. So I think that's to tell which side it's on. But this one has already not proven black pastel. So I think it's another gene.
What are you going to do about it?
I don't know. Probably throw it in the trash. I'm kidding.
What are you going to call her babies?
Stupid. Dumb.
This is
irritating.
The stupid gene. How are you even going to label those?
I don't know. The best part about it is she didn't breed last year. So I don't have like 2022 or 2023 babies to worry about. Labeling wise, I feel like I have to morally label them as black pastel because that's what they were sold to me as. Obviously, people mix things up based on what their perception of what it is. I don't think it's cinnamon though. I've had enough cinnamon from enough known cinnamons that make known pewter looking things, but this is a different
tone.
And I've seen this kind of black pastel before, like in the Het Tri-Stripes or whatever, wherever, just like some other place. And you're like, oh, that's a different kind of look. And now I just thought it was because of like head effect.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a different thing. Hairline, black pastel. The problem is once we start doing this, there will be hundreds of these things. Right?
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do it, Jessica.
And so I have to just decide like which side it falls on.
Exactly. Exclusive. Buy it now.
Sell the whole project for $10K. That's all. That's my fun collection update. Mini corn snakes available. Corn snakes on Morph Market. Wholesale lots. Group deals. Let me know. And I'm going to a show tomorrow. I heard Slidell was really good, like a great show. So
is that the one you had decided not to do last minute?
No.
What's the one you haven't done that you need to do?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Oh, cool. Good talk.
Every show that I'm doing, I have done. Is that what you mean?
No, I thought there was one more on the like circuit that you hadn't tried yet.
Oh yeah, but this is one I've tried.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, I'm gonna give it my full effort or some shit, you know.
Yeah.
But Marissa's coming down with me, and she's like gonna bring some stuff to share a table and pick up her hog nose for like one day. So that'll be fun. Check out that. I'm probably gonna like bring some like wholeback females. I've seen them doing just ball pythons, which is crazy, right? Crazy.
That is weird for you. Don't you have like 10 million corn snakes?
Well, I mean, ball pythons and corn snakes.
Oh,
Not.
okay.
I just like no boas. Like I'm sure boas would sell well, but I only have like 14 of those or something, so it's not enough, really. So I am doing the Shawnee show tomorrow. It's just I don't know if I will keep doing it forever.
Well, I'm not sure everyone needs you to commit to forever today, Jessica.
Marsha, you tried to get into that show? It's such a mid show. No offense, Sean and Lori.
They wouldn't let him in?
Well,
That's a mistake.
it's full. You
I know, but it's Marshall.
I have 2 tables, so I would still do it if I could like break even and like make even a little bit. But I feel like last time I did okay only because I wholesaled. I only retailed like $500 worth of stuff total.
I think we did it, Jessica.
Yeah, I'm just watching the chat. All right. See everybody next week. I don't know what the fuck we're doing, but it'll be some portion of show update and something else. Maybe we'll find out if she's had for albino.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Bye, everybody. We did it. See you later.